Hi, my name is David Esslinger. I'm here today with Sam Ridgway. We're going to talk to you about an exciting product for the legal community known as EPS 90. Sam, what is EPS 90?
Well, Dave, EPS 90 allows me to go into a legal firm and offer the attorney the ability to give to their client up to $5,000 of their services.
Wow.
With no credit check. The only criteria is that the client will need a job, a checking account, and a valid ID.
So if I have a job and I have a valid ID and I have a checking account, I qualify for this program?
95% approved. 95% of all the people that try to enter the program get approved.
That's fantastic. Now, can you explain to me how this really serves the attorneys? Because I know if I was an attorney, that'd be my first question. How is this going to serve me?
Right. Well, I see this in two major ways. Obviously, there are a number of different ways, but two major ways. One of them is when a client comes into you and has no money at all.
Mm-hmm.
They need, let's say, $1,000 retainer. They have no money. Well, or very little money.
Sure.
You're able to take that $1,000 retainer, spread it over the course of 90 days, take only 25% of it down, and give that client the services.
This could be very, very beneficial.
Very beneficial, absolutely. And what you have to understand is your money is guaranteed. As the attorney, your money is guaranteed by a multi-billion-dollar FDIC insured bank.
Okay, now how does that work?
Well, basically, if the customer comes in and they take the plan, and for whatever reason through the payment process, the payment doesn't go, non-sufficient funds, whatever the case may be, on the 5th and the 20th, EPS, backed by Merrick Bank, will deposit those funds into your account for you, and then EPS will actually talk to the client and try to get them back on track with the payment plan. You get out of the debt collection business.
So in other words, I can take the check, but I don't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
That's perfect. That's huge. Okay, Sam, so besides maybe the fact that this can help cover a retainer or something like that, what else can EPS 90 do for me as the attorney?
Traditionally, what attorneys do is, let's say it's $3,000 worth of work, and the person comes to them with $2,000. Many times they'll look at it and they'll say, well, I'd rather have $2,000 than nothing.
Sure.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this case for $2,000. Whereas they know it's a $3,000 venture. With the EPS 90 plan, you're now allowed to say, let's do the $2,000 that you have right now, and let's take the additional $1,000, let's spread that over the course of 90 days, and you get paid what you're worth.
So I'm not discounting my services.
You're not discounting your services. You're getting everything that's owed to you. You're picking up a new client. You're doing that client a service. And as you can believe, when they go back home,
you're the hero.
You're the hero, right.
Right.
With the program comes the single check conversion. And what that means is if somebody comes in with a check for $1,200, $1,500, whereas today, if you don't know that person, you might cringe when you take the check. I mean,
sure.
Maybe drive to the bank and cash it back. You don't know what's going to happen.
Sure.
With the single check conversion, which comes with the EPS 90 plan, you're able to put the account number and routing number into the computer from that check. Within 3 seconds, you get an approval. You can hand that check back to that client. Thank you very much. The money's already on its way to my bank account. Never be afraid of taking another check again.
Okay. Do I have to have any special equipment or anything like that?
All you need is to have a PC.
Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the upside of this. Is there any catches or any downside to this? Anything that I need to know about?
The problem is that 60% of Americans can't come up with $300 or more at any given point in time. I mean, that's just where we are in the economy. So if you look, unless your services are less than $300, which I seriously doubt, you are segmenting 60% of the population. You're alienating them. They're not even able to come to you for your services. What are you going to say? You're either going to discount your services like we spoke about, or you're going to say, go get the $1,000 and then come back to me when you have it. We actually have a case. I mean, a full-blown case. There are many, but one in particular, which is just an average. It doesn't do any good to throw the high end of the spectrum. Of course, it doesn't do any good to throw the low end of the spectrum, but right in the middle, there's a lawyer that put this in place, and for 1 year, at the end of that year, he generated $17,000 just from the EPS 90 plan alone.
$17,000.
$17,000.
Wow.
On top of that, he estimates anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 was gained from word of mouth from those he helped with the EPS 90 plan.
So just having the program bettered him with his referral base.
With his referral base, exactly. So we're talking 17,000, and then let's say another 20,000. We're talking $37,000 was generated from just putting the EPS 90 plan in that law firm.
That's
Absolutely.
incredible. You know, it brings to mind when you go to the bank and you borrow money from them, they always are willing to lend you money, but it comes with a price.
Right.
You know, they're going to charge you interest. Is there any interest involved in
This is a beautiful part of the plan as well. You're right. It costs money to lend money, and EPS is backing those checks. Somebody writes you a $1,000 check that goes wrong.
Right.
EPS is still paying you. They're out $1,000. They're going back after the client. So there's the risk is with EPS in this case, not with the lawyer. But from an interest perspective, for that EPS takes 7.5%. Not paid for by the attorney, paid for by the client. So when we're figuring out how much Mrs. Jones owes, we're going to add 7.5 for EPS. But get this, you can go and ask whatever you want to as the attorney. Now most people do 12.5%. That gives 7.5% to EPS, 5% for the attorney. You're making 5% on your money for allowing that payment over the course of 90 days.
So I basically have my own in-house funding at 5% for 90 days to my client.
You have actually paid for the entire program in a very short period of time, just off of the interest alone. And quite honestly, when you're looking at 12.5%, and we're not talking about everybody that walks through your door, you're going to offer the EPS 90 plan to. You're going to go for cash first, you're going to go for credit card, you're going to go for a check. Obviously, those are going to be your first method.
Right. So if I understand you right, I could have 3 or 4 appointments in the afternoon, and I could pitch this to any of those clients, and I could potentially have my system paid for by the end of the day.
You could have the entire system paid for by the end of the day.
That's fantastic.
And in retrospect, if you really think about it, I'm quite certain that you can think of at least 3 or 4 cases that have come to you within, let's say, the last month that could have utilized this service.
I'm sure.
Right.
I'm sure. So if I'm a criminal attorney, or if I'm a family law attorney, where I have sizable retainer up front, this is huge for me.
It's huge because in these particular cases, for the most part, where you thought on Friday, I think I'll go out and get a DUI. I mean, these things just happen, and life happens. And with the inability, again, to come up with $300 or more for 60% of the American population, when these things happen, somebody's scared. They need legal services. They want you to help them right now.
Right.
And to be able to come in and not turn that client away, to be able to offer them an alternative payment option is going to do nothing but incredibly benefit your firm.
Sam, how does one get started with this?
Well, obviously this is just a brief overview.
Right.
There are many more benefits to this system. So what we really need to do is we really need to go over the details. In order to do that, basically we could come out, or we could do just like a 15-minute sort of web meeting, which high definition video, audio, the whole 9 yards. Ask as many questions as you want. We'll go over the program in detail for you. In order to do that, just call the corporate office, which is 800-528-8646.
I see. So I can sit at my desk, view a web conference with you in a 15-minute period of time, and have everything on.
Absolutely. In fact, I can even send the documents over electronically for you to sign. I can have this in place within 72 hours of you saying go.
3 days.
3 days.
That's fantastic. Well, folks, I hope this has been informative. Again, give us a call, 1-800-528-8646. Looking forward to talking to you soon.